Hello and welcome back to Football Manager 2020 on the TomFM channel. The Manchester United save is still well and truly going, and it's going very, very well indeed. I'll talk you through what's happened in between episodes, but I'm really happy with the way the save's going right now. I thought we would struggle with Manchester United, but we seem to have developed a reasonably good tactic that's going quite well. The transfers that we made are really good as well, and as we approach January, there's not really anywhere that I'm desperate to strengthen. I want to try and get rid of one or two players so then we can maybe buy a lot of players in next summer sort of thing. But as we get to January, I'm struggling to sort of see where we can strengthen the squad at the moment because it is just working quite well. Today, though, it could go all wrong because we are playing Crystal Palace, who are on 5th. They're doing extremely well this season before we take on top of the table and the noisy neighbours, Manchester City, in the Manchester Derby. So that is going to be a fiery game. Now, since you were here for the triple header against Rangers, Bournemouth and Borussia Mönchengladbach, all of them wins and we qualified from our group in the Europa League, we have played 4 games. And they've done pretty well. In the first one, we had a 2-1 win over West Ham United. Marcus Rashford scoring right at the end and right at the start of the game, with Yarmolenko scoring the 15th minute. But that was good enough to get us 3 points. So that was a pretty decent game, good result. We then had a 2-0 win over Aston Villa away from home, with Rashford and Bernardeschi getting the goals there, which was a really good scoreline for us. So another 3 points, another clean sheet. We then absolutely dominated against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Bernardeschi with 2, Pogba with 1 and Juan Mata with 1 as well in a 4-0 routing that really cemented ourselves as one of the best teams in the league. I think we are doing extremely well this season and I'm really pleased with how we are playing. And then last time out, I wish we'd done it on an episode, but we managed to just about beat Torino 5-4. You can see here that we did rotate the lineup a fair bit, bringing in some youth players. We had Chong there, we had Gomez playing as well, Greenwood playing. So we had a bit of a rotated lineup with some youth players playing as well, because we'd already qualified, so we may as well play the youth guys. And it was a pretty close game. It didn't start too well because they did go 2-0 up. Mason Greenwood brought one back to make it 2-1 before they made it 3-1 through Andrea Bellotti's second goal of the game. But then the comeback came on with Scott McTominay, Jesse Lingard and Andreas Pereira scoring the goals to make it 4-3. And then Mason Greenwood scored in the 90th minute. And then they scored one in the 93rd minute, which made me worry a little bit that they might grab a draw. But in the end, we made it sure we won that one 5-4. So that was an entertaining game. Wish it had been on an episode, but alas, it wasn't to be. So we do top our group in the Europa League, which is fantastic. The draw should be very, very soon. I'm not entirely sure when it is, actually. I mean, interestingly, looking across the whole calendar, I've had a look, it doesn't actually tell me when it is. So I'm sure it will come up at some point in today's episode, because we've only just won that game, obviously. But it should come up in the next few days, and we should be able to do a draw for you in today's episode. Quickly at the league table, we are still second, but we're about to go through all the weekend's fixtures and we are playing on the Monday. So we are the last fixture to kick off. So we may drop down below Arsenal and Liverpool. We're on 35 points, Arsenal on 35 points and Liverpool on 34 points. Man City top of the table on 39 points. So we need to beat them today to make sure we catch up with them a little bit. If they beat us, then they could be in an unassailable lead in the Premier League. So we need to make sure we beat them, but we also need to make sure we beat Crystal Palace as well, because Arsenal and Liverpool are also bearing down on us. Now, we are a long way ahead of Crystal Palace, but if they beat us, they'll only be 4 points behind us, and we don't want them to catch up to us because we want top 4 this season, so we've got to keep going. Again, though, once all these games go through, we'll have a quick look at the state of players. Liverpool just beat it. Liverpool just beat Man City. Now, that is huge, because if we now go and beat Crystal Palace, we'll only be 1 point behind Man City. And if we beat Man City, we'll go top of the table. And that would be something that I want to see. And now, after all the Sunday fixtures have come through, where Aston Villa beat Arsenal, Arsenal stay 4th. Liverpool obviously gone up to 2nd because they beat Man City. But a win for us today will put us a point behind Man City and a point ahead of Liverpool. So we have to make sure we beat Crystal Palace in the next game. Good news though, Harry Maguire has just about resumed full training after he got injured last episode, but probably isn't going to be fit enough to be playing today against Palace. So we'll probably get him on the bench, I would imagine, today, and probably on the bench as well against Man City. I'm not quite sure he'll be good enough and fit enough to start that game either. But as it's come around, before we even kick off a fixture in today's game, the Europa League first knockout round draw is made. I thought it could have been seeded, but it's not seeded, so we have got some decent sides here that we could be coming up against. But really, I do fancy our chances against anyone in this competition. So hopefully we get a good draw, and hopefully we just smash them, whoever it is, basically. So we'll keep drawing teams until, of course, we come up. Tottenham v Roma, that's a massive game. To be fair, 2 really good sides there. Same with Seville and Arsenal, some big teams drawing each other right now. Who else is coming up then? Well, we've got Ludogorets, which is probably one of the kindest fixtures I think we could have had in this entire draw. The Bulgarian side, I don't think are going to be favourites to win this tournament, so I think we've been very lucky to draw against them. That's probably an easier game. I'd say this. They've obviously qualified from their group, so they must be a decent side. However, I think Ludogorets are probably easier to play against than any other team that we've played against in the group stages. For today's fixture then, we are nearly at full strength lineup. We've got David De Gea in goal as per usual with Wan-Bissaka, Aya and Tuanzebe. Obviously, Harry Maguire's back again, but not fit enough, so Tuanzebe stays where he is, and Ashley Young plays at left back because Luke Shaw, he's not quite fit enough to play today's game, so I want to give him a little rest. We might bring him on as a substitute at some point, but that's Young is starting for now. Pogba and Partey in the middle with Daniel James, Juan Mata and Bernardeschi on the right-hand side, and Martial leading the line. I think this is good enough. I think we should go and beat Crystal Palace today. Come on, boys. And as kickoff is upon us, obviously, Crystal Palace, a decent side this season, as I sit 5th in the Premier League. So we've got to be at our best today, but we haven't been tested for quite some time. So today could be quite a difficult game as Crystal Palace get an early opportunity there from a very poor pass from Wan-Bissaka there. Maybe a chance for us, though, in the 12th minute as we get the ball around the edge of the area. Thomas Partey plays it out towards Wan-Bissaka, who's got 10 assists so far this season, which is fantastic. Pogba on the edge of the area. Juan Mata into Daniel James, who puts it just over the bar, which isn't good enough. That's a bit of a shame, really. Actually, I should say Daniel James is starting. Obviously, I said that, and I said we're at full strength line, but he's obviously not the first choice. It's because Rashford, as you can see down there, has picked up a bit of a knock in recent weeks as well. So Daniel James, he's all right. He's not as good as I thought he was going to be in this game. I thought, obviously, his start to season in real life was really good. Scored a couple goals, didn't he, in a couple games at the start of the season, but it's sort of tailed off a little bit. Thought he might be a bit better in Football Manager than he actually is. Perhaps I'm just not playing him in the correct way, I don't know. But he's a decent backup to Rashford for now, which is quite good as Thomas Partey gets himself on the ball out towards Wan-Bissaka, who puts it across to Ashley Young. Ashley Young, can he get it in the area? No, of course he doesn't, because he puts it out to Pogba, who scores an absolutely beautiful goal, his 8th of the season. And I said earlier on, there's nowhere I really want to strengthen. Actually, I want to strengthen in the striker role because Pogba's 8th goal of the season means he's our top scorer now. Rashford's got 7, but Pogba on 8 now. That is a superb goal, to be fair. That is really top quality. Fair play to him for that goal. But we probably need to get a more prolific striker in. But at the same time, we are second in the table and with plus 24 goal difference. So really, do we actually need a better striker in if we're that good anyway? You could spin it around, though, and say if we had a 20 goal a season striker playing every game, then perhaps we could be in a better position than we actually are now. So we'll take a look at strikers over January. I don't think we're going to have the money, unfortunately, to sign anyone decent over January. So we might try and save it for next season, stick it out with Martial and Rashford sort of swapping up front. As Jordan Ayew, I mean, to be fair, scores a pretty good goal there for Crystal Palace. A lapse in our defensive judgment there. Lets Ayew through. And he scored his 7th of the season. Aya just losing it completely, and Ayew coming through unopposed, one-on-one the keeper pretty much because no one else was around him, and De Gea did nothing really, and it was a great shot to be fair. Game on again. Obviously, we've got the ability to be scoring lots of goals in today's game, I believe. Tuanzebe's pass was really, really bad, and Ayew is through again because Tuanzebe is out of position, and De Gea forced to make a good save. If anyone looks like they're going to score a goal, looks more like Crystal Palace at the moment as Maya puts the ball in. Thomas Partey just about gets rid of it. I think we need to go a bit more attacking, definitely, and say, show some passion out there. A lot of players looking nervous, a few players looking fired up now, but some players not looking too happy, interestingly. We'll take Partey off for Goretzka then, because he's looking apprehensive, and Daniel James will bring Jesse Lingard on that left-hand side, see if Lingard can do something, as we've got a chance on the 71st minute as Young puts it into Daniel James before he's being substituted. Mata back to Partey, Pogba, someone should have had the shot there really, as Wan-Bissaka now can put a ball in. It's not the best ball and it's cleared by Adama there, but Ashley Young back on it, in towards Pogba, across to Wan-Bissaka again, looking for his 11th assist of the season, putting it in, cleared, Pogba, not good enough I'm afraid. We need to be better than that. A draw here isn't going to be good enough. I mean, considering that Crystal Palace are 5th in the Premier League, it's probably not the worst result in the world, but at the same time, it is Crystal Palace. We should be comfortably beating them, no matter where they are in the table, as we've given the ball away. Adama coming forward, De Gea forced to make a fantastic save again. 10 minutes to go. Let's switch it up to very attacking, please. Let's pause the game. Very attacking. Demand more. Come on, lads. Everyone's focused. Push forward. A few minutes left, but I don't think we're going to do it as the clock ticks down. And it is full time. Crystal Palace 1, Manchester United 1. I'm not happy with that. Aggressively, not good enough tonight. On the plus side, we didn't lose, but we've got to be beating teams that are challenging for the top 4 if we want to be in the top 4. And it does worry me a little bit for this game against Man City. I think we could be seeing our first defeat for a while. PSG are still interested in Pogba, and Thiago Silva is telling Pogba to go to PSG. Interestingly, we nearly signed Thiago Silva in the summer transfer window. The issue was he wanted nearly £400,000 per week wages, which I wasn't going to pay. So he didn't sign in the end, obviously. But interesting that he's now telling Pogba to join PSG. Anyway, the attention is now shifting to the Manchester derby coming up on the Saturday. That is a huge game. The first derby of this series of FM20 for me at least. So I'm looking forward to that. That should be a really banging game. Hopefully, well, it should be a good game if we win it. I can also see us doing, we played Liverpool a few episodes ago and they had 40 shots against us. I can see it being like 60 shots. Rather annoyingly, just before the Man City derby, Daniel James out for 3 to 4 weeks and Juan Mata out for 1 to 2 days. So he should be all right actually for the Man City game. But Daniel James is completely out. Hopefully Rashford is going to be fit enough. Otherwise I have to put Martial out wide and Mason Greenwood up front. Luckily, though, Greenwood is training on a 9.75, which is mental. That is fantastic. So well done to you for that. That should bump him up to a 9.95. So really, he probably might deserve the start today, especially if Rashford isn't fully fit. We've dropped down to 4th as well. I presume that means there were Premier League games going on the Friday and Arsenal must have won their games. So we've dropped down to 4th temporarily. But it's here. The Manchester derby against Manchester City. Daniel James out. Juan Mata is still a bit injured. Rashford still a little bit injured. He's returning. So I think we'll start off then. Martial there. We'll start off with, where is he? Greenwood up front instead of Daniel James. Obviously he's injured, so he's got to come off completely. I think we stick with Mata on the pitch for now. We can bring someone else on for him if needs be. Luke Shaw, I want you back on the pitch. Pogba, Tanzabe. Did we bring Harry Maguire on? No, we bring him on as a substitute at some point, I think. I just don't trust this Matt Sharpness. I feel like that could be an error and he might make a mistake and that'll be that. So perhaps slightly light up top with Greenwood rather than having a proper strike force. But that's what we've been forced to do because of injuries. Hopefully it all works out for us today against Man City, and it's a scary team, isn't it? Right then, kickoff is upon us today. We've got to show up at home today. We can't be losing this game. If we lose in front of our home fans, I think they'll be very, very upset. And they might be calling for my head because this is a very important game. We've got to make sure we're on top quality form. First highlight of the game, though, is maybe going towards Man City as they bring it out of the fence, coming forward with the ball into Aguero. Aguero into David Silva. What's he doing? It back to John Stones. Again, I mean, Man City are obviously the masters of passing the ball around. That's what we've been trying to do this season. We're trying to play tiki-taka, but of course that's Man City all over, isn't it? But Luke Shaw makes the ball his own. There's Axel Tanzabe. Plays it to Christopher Ayer. Tackled by Aguero. De Gea makes a good save, but have I made a mistake? Should we have put Maguire on the pitch despite the match sharpness? Would he have made that mistake? I'm not too sure as Rodrigo gets something to the ball, putting it wide of the mark. Now Man City have won another corner, and John Stones he was unmarked at the back post as well. We need to be working on this. We need to get some extra work and training on defending set pieces. To be fair, it's not as bad as the Liverpool game right now. The Liverpool game was awful because we just conceded so many shots in that entire game. 30 minutes in, only 7 to Man City so far compared to our 6. So it's a pretty even game. And I tell you what, if we end up drawing it, I wouldn't actually be too fussed about it. I'd be quite happy with a draw because it is Man City, a decent side. And it means we'd only be 3 points behind them. So we would have made a bit of ground on them. However, the win here today would be perfect. To be fair, it's been quite cagey. Not a lot of highlights. Obviously, both teams a little bit nervous. It's all been a midfield battle by sounds of things if it's no highlights. But Wan-Bissaka coming forward, it's not a good ball at all. And here comes Raheem Sterling. De Gea again saving us. What a goalkeeper he is. I am tempted to bring Rashford on. I know it's probably not the best idea with his injury. However, I can't quite see Mason Greenwood scoring, unfortunately. He's only, 16, 17 in this, and Sterling coming forward again. He's through. De Gea with a good save. I just don't think Greenwood's going to do it. I think we need to bring Rashford on. I think we need that little bit more experience, that little bit more quality, even if he is injured or he's nearly back from injury anyway. He should be okay to play us. Again, Sterling through, and again, De Gea denies. Greenwood off, Rashford on. Come on, lads, do it. I've got faith in him, lad. I've got faith in him. All he has to do is just get on the end of one ball. He can get in those positions. I know he can. He's a great striker that can get into those positions. So just poke one home. That's all we want to see. But with 10 minutes to go, show some passion out there. Don't look nervous, boys. Fired up. That's good to see. Any more changes? Partey's not played well. Goretzka, on you come. And maybe Diogo Dalot's going to make some chances. He might create something at the right-hand side, and Wan-Bissaka's looking nervous. So they're the changes that we'll make as Mata puts the ball into the area collected by Ederson, unfortunately. I thought we were going to have like a win the header there and score the goal, but Man City to get rid of the ball. It's not the best ball as Diogo Dalot wins it and Goretzka collects it. We lose the ball going forward though, and Man City coming back once again. The ball isn't brilliant, but Gundogan wins the interception as Zinchenko now puts it in. Bernardo Silva, at the second time of asking in the 86th minute, goes to VAR decision. Now, it's been taken away. I'm not entirely sure why. It might tell us in a minute. Maybe it was offside. Offside, apparently. VAR denies the Man City goal. It is so quick to decide it, though. I want there to be a bit more suspense in the game. I know in real life I complain a lot about VAR slowing the game down, but when it's like that, I want that suspense to tell me the goal's been disallowed and then the game continues playing, rather than you see the scores go back to that and then it still turns on top of the screen. You know what I'm trying to say, basically. But a 0-0 draw isn't the worst result. Against the Man City side that are head and shoulders above everyone else in the league, that is a decent result. We do drop down to third in today's episode with the 2 draws, but crucially, we haven't lost, and we haven't lost a game since the start of October, which is brilliant. We now, though, do enter a pretty tricky part of this season. Now, we've got Burnley at first, and they're 11th, so they're not too bad, but then games against Tottenham, which is going to be tough. Liverpool's going to be tough. Arsenal's going to be tough. Leicester's going to be tough, and Chelsea is going to be tough. I think we come back towards the end of this period, and we do Leicester and Chelsea in the league. I think that's going to be the most interesting game to do next time around. After those games, we'll obviously then focus on Ludogorets in the Europa League and then carry on the rest of the season like that. So join me next time for Leicester v Chelsea at the back end of these tricky fixtures. If we come through it with a lot of green, I think we could be on for a successful season and potentially winning a title next time around. So thank you very much for watching today's episode. I hope you have enjoyed it. Of course, hashtag TomFM20k still going on, so please do subscribe if you're new around here. Get your friends subscribed, share the videos around. If you know someone who likes Football Manager, just send them a link and then say, this is great, subscribe, please, because you'll be a lad. And then that'd be fantastic, that'd be really good. Join the giveaway in the description as well. The giveaway is still going on. Still, when we get to 13,000 subscribers, we'll give away a copy of the game, and then we'll start again for 14,000 subscribers, and so on and so forth, until we get to 20,000. Also, drop a like on the video as well, and comment down below how you think we're going to get on against Ludogorets. I think we'll do pretty well. I really think we can go all the way in the Europa League this season, which would be fantastic. But let me know how you think we'll get on against Ludogorets, and of course, in those tough fixtures in between episodes. So until next time, have a good one. Goodbye.